But still, we're looking at that level 2 and level 3 risk farther to the north. And then, of course, the farther east you go, that remains at a level 1 out of level 5 risk. So let's go back to satellite and radar here really quickly while maybe we can get some new updates. And here also show you a couple other things too. So again, here's where satellite and radar stands at the present time. And really the only thing noteworthy in our area is just a little bit of some thunder and lightning near Durand. And then, of course, the heavier storms that are showing up farther south and west of our area. So you can see this area of storms, and that's heading southeast. So if you're down, Winona, Galesville, maybe you're heading down to La Crosse, you'll want to watch out for that. Non-severe, but the storms are a little bit more, a little bit stronger, if you will, farther to the east and southeast, over towards south of Wilmer, Mankato, and then eventually heading towards Albert Lee and Faribault, Minnesota. And again, that's where we're still seeing those statements from the Weather Service showing that there could be some gusty winds up to about 50 miles per hour and hail up to about dime to nickel size at the present time. But again, the Storm Prediction Center outlook did not change in their last update, which was about 9 minutes ago. So that is indicating that things are really not changing much as of now. But again, we're going to need to kind of watch when that clearing happens and how fast the atmosphere can recover. So again, there's a look at those statements by the Weather Service. And then again, I'll show you the visible satellite. As you can see, the clearing, at least the edge of the clearing, which is over by St. Cloud right now, and we'll take a measuring look at this. So that's about 120 miles or so from where the clearing is. And it's moving at I guess a decent clip. So in the next few hours, we should see things kind of start to clear out once again. So and what we're watching for is you can see how you have those temperatures in the rain-cooled area. You see how it's only in the 60s. That's not overly conducive for severe weather, especially when you have rain around. It kind of stabilizes the atmosphere a little bit. But when you have temperatures farther north and west that are in the 80s and the dew points of the 60s, that's a little more conducive for thunderstorms to develop. And of course, the other thing you have to consider is the lid on the atmosphere. If we can break through that, that's when we get those storms to develop. And I think that if we can get to about 80, 82 in Eau Claire and most of the Chippewa Valley, that could be allowing for those storms to kind of develop into later this afternoon. So once again, the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, there's been no change, still maintaining a level 2 out of level 5 risk for severe weather. And again, some of these categories, we don't we don't use, the marginal, slight. We try to just convey it in an easier sense for everybody. But basically, the level 2 risk is showing that scattered severe storms are certainly possible. And another way to look at it, and I'm going to bring this up here really quickly, is when you look at this, the level 2 risk, and I'll highlight it here to make it a little bit easier for everybody to see. So we're in that level 2 out of 5 risk, which means, again, scattered severe thunderstorms are in the forecast. And then you also have, it's mostly short-lived, but you can also have those storms where they can be a little more numerous and maybe a little bit stronger versus a level 1 risk. So that's kind of what you're seeing right there. So I also highlighted the level 3 risk in case for those that are maybe traveling north later today up towards, Duluth or the Brainerd area or northern Minnesota, that the risk is a little bit higher up there. So when you look at this, so you're looking at scattered severe thunderstorms. So typically they're short-lived, but sometimes you can get ones that last a little bit longer. The intensity is a little bit higher in a level 2 risk, not anything too crazy, but with the setup we have today, we could have some storms that could be at least rather severe for a time, where you have an isolated tornado threat. Mostly it's a hail and wind threat. Then in the level 3 risk, that's where you have more numerous and even a few intense severe storms where you could have a few tornadoes and significant wind and hail damage possible, which those areas up in northern Minnesota and far northwest Wisconsin, they're looking at the potential for not only a higher risk for tornadoes, also higher risk for damaging winds and hail that could be on the order of about 3 inches in diameter, which is slightly bigger than a baseball. Now, I talked about in the Chippewa Valley, the hail risk is about 2 inches in diameter. So it's a potentially even bigger, more destructive hail farther to the north. So I can actually show you this right here, some of the hail sizes we can talk about within a thunderstorm. So you're looking at kind of the hail sizes with this graphic. And again, for a severe thunderstorm, you need at least quarter-size hail, which is 1 inch in diameter. But as the hail sizes get bigger, it becomes less common. So we're mostly kind of, when you see most storms, if you get hail, it's mostly kind of in that 1/4 to 3/4 inch range. Again, 1/4 is considered severe. Then you got golf ball size, which is 1.75 inches. 2 inches in diameter is the size of an egg, which I talked about how some of the stronger storms in the Chippewa Valley, should we get them to redevelop this afternoon, evening, could be up to about that size. So you look at this, it's about slightly bigger than a golf ball, but some of the storms farther north could produce baseball size hail, which is up to 2.75 inches or even slightly bigger than that. Softball size about 4 inches. I'm not expecting storms to produce that big of hail, but you get the idea that as the hail sizes get bigger, it's less and less common to see the hail be that big. Plus, also too, be more destructive as well. That could start getting into the damage territory with even quarter-size hail for that matter. But once you get into the bigger size hailstones, that's when you're going to start to have not only problems with your vehicles, but even with the cars as well. So we'll go over the hazards once again for the Chippewa Valley, and we'll go back into Futurecast, and then by that time we should be able to start wrapping things up a little bit. So again, this is just for the WQOW viewing area. So the tornado risk, again, is not, it's mostly a secondary threat in this point in the game. Hail and wind is the primary threat. We could have, again, up to golf ball to 2 inch diameter hail with the strongest storms and winds up to 70 miles per hour. And again, and I want to stress this, when you look at this, not everyone is going to see hail at 2 inches in diameter, and not everyone is going to see 70 mile per hour winds. This is just with the strongest storms that could develop. You may have a storm that produces 40 mile per hour winds or quarter-size hail, and that's it. But some of the strongest storms could produce hail that big and wind that strong. So it's just kind of, we could see storms that could produce up to that. So I just want to make that very clear, because I don't want people to think that, you're going to get, egg-sized hail with every storm that develops. So just, want to stress that a little bit. So again, we'll go through Futurecast, a couple looks at it. This one is showing not much activity, or at least the activity staying to the south and west with what's going on right now. And then we'll see storms kind of redevelop from the north and west and drifting south and east this afternoon and evening. Now, past sunset, you start to lose that daytime heating and the energy needed. So that would also help us a little bit if the storms can come in a little bit later at night. But I still think we're going to at least have some storms around regardless. Again, the severe intensity is going to be maybe determined a little bit on when the storms develop and when they move through, and if we can warm up enough following the rain and clouds that are moving through right now. Another look at Futurecast. This one's doing a little bit better of a job with the rain and storms moving through right now. Again, we're going to watch and see if that intensifies as it moves farther to the south, or the possibility is we get more storms kind of redevelop on the northwest side of that, which radar is not really showing that as of right now. But we're also, again, showing those storms coming in from Duluth, Superior, Brainerd areas and drifting south and east into the evening hours. I think, safe to say, once we get past about midnight tonight, and especially 2 a.m. or so, that's when things are going to start to kind of quiet down just a little bit. So once again, main wave of storms coming through about 3 p.m. to midnight. That's the best chance to see severe storms. But again, this will really depend on what we see following the round of rain and storms that are moving through right now, and if we can clear out. That's the biggest thing that we're watching. Is kind of what's made this kind of a complex forecast. But again, either way, we'll keep you up to date, have multiple ways to get those weather alerts just in case if you have any outdoor plans. Maybe, the kids have softball or baseball, softball practice, sports practice, whatever it may be. If you're going to maybe heading out and about on the town tonight, just have a way to get those weather alerts just in case, or even if you're sitting at home too. And of course, the Stormtracker 18 weather team will be here. We'll keep you updated as kind of things evolve. And of course, the new Storm Prediction Center Outlook, that will be coming out here at about 3 o'clock or so this afternoon. So be sure to check in with Matt later tonight for the updates on that. So before I conclude here with this update, I'm going to go back to the satellite and radar. We'll recap that one more time as those rain showers and a few storms continue to track through the area. So we'll pull up that here really quickly. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, so we're still continuing to see the showers kind of moving through. It is about to exit at least Eau Claire, Menominee, and then Behind that, Cumberland, Osceola, Luck, New Richmond, we are cloudy, but we're dry for right now. And then the clearing is just to the north and west of Danbury and Siren, Cambridge, and St. Cloud. And that's also, too, where the warmer air is presiding at this point in time. And again, if we can get the clouds to move out of here, that's where I think we can get that severe weather, or the potential for maybe some stronger to severe storms later this afternoon and evening. And like I mentioned, it's just kind of a complex forecast. Just once we can get, this rain and rain moving out of here, how is the atmosphere going to recover this afternoon? So that's something that we'll be watching. And of course, you can kind of see where to the northwest again, where we got the clearing skies, how much warmer and how much more humid it is. So that is kind of the latest update I have for everybody right now. So that's kind of where things stand. So not any major changes to the forecast since this morning, but again, we're just still watching to see how far and how this morning round of rain, once it moves out, how things will progress. So again, we're going to be here to keep you updated, of course, on air, online, the social media pages, and if you can you can also download that free Stormtracker 18 weather app as well.